Now we're into our moving without the ball series. So we're going to look at moving without the ball, relocating on the perimeter off of a drive, off of basic cuts, off of screens, and some other different actions. But the first thing we're going to do is cover some basic concepts. So the first concept I want to cover is that the low player wins. So if I am on the perimeter right here and the ball's at the top, Taha, let's say you're my defender and I'm just trying to get open. If I'm standing straight up and this defender is in a good position, they're almost always going to beat me and I'm not going to be able to get open because I'm standing straight up. And if I walk the defender in and I'm still standing straight up, if I try to position myself so I can cut outwards, well, I'm not in a low, powerful position to either create contact or gain speed. So you got to remember the low player wins. And this just means as I'm going into this cut, I want to be lower than this player, than the defender, and I'm stepping in and then I'm retreating out. So on top of the low player wins, you've got to be able to create contact to create space as you're getting away from your defender. So 2 points to make with that is one, you've got to be physical. Of course, when you're being physical with a defender, you don't want to push off like this because that's obviously an offensive foul. But one trick you can do is you can step right between the defender's feet. So if I'm trying to get open on the perimeter and my defender's denying me, I could walk my defender down and they're going to retreat. And then what I can do is step right between their feet like this, get my shoulder into their chest or stomach, and then I can pop out. Another concept to cover is you want to go slow. It can be off of screens, off of cuts or whatever, but you want to go slow into your defender and then change speeds out. So if Taha's defending me, this defender's in a good position like that, I don't want to keep the same speed going into my defender. I could walk my defender, they're going to retreat, they're going to retreat, they're going to retreat, and then I get low, get into them, and then I change speeds out. So you want to go slow. Typically, not every time, but most times you want to go slow into your defender and then explode fast out of your cut. You can also change speeds, not just going in and out of a cut, but you can also change speeds going through a cut. So here's what I mean here is, Taha, you can play defense on me. So let's say I'm trying to get open on that opposite wing right there and the defender's on me. And if I'm trying to get open on that wing, instead of being at one consistent speed where I'm going at one speed all the way to this opposite wing, I can change speeds throughout my cut. So Taha, you're going to trail me. We're going to say the defender's going to trail me, so I get a first step advantage right here and I sprint. Now they're trailing me. What I can do is kind of stop right here and get the defender on my back, and then I can sprint out again to create that space. So what I did there was once I stopped or changed speeds, I went here. Now if I change speeds, right at this point I create contact and then I'm able to create more separation from my defender right there. So you can also not just change speeds going in and out of a cut, but you can change speeds as you are going through a cut. You also want to make sure you show your hands where you want the ball. So we'll work with an L cut right here. So you're going to be my defender on the inside. So I'm just going to go up the lane and then pop out. So when I pop up the lane right here, I can still plant into my defender, still plant into them. But as I'm popping out, I want to show my hand away from the defense. Obviously, I don't want to be right here because that's where the defense is. I want to show my hand away from the defense, and then that way the passer knows to lead me out here. I catch it with my outside hand away from the defense, and now I'm squared up, ready to play. So make sure you show your hands where you want it. You could also do, like if I'm doing a curl cut right here, so just play defense on me right here. Let's say I get a curl face cut on the defender right here. I make this face cut and I can get past, I'll get past you right here, so you'll just stay there. Same thing here is I want to show my hand and show the passer, hey, you need to be leading me to the basket as I'm cutting in. So make sure you throw and show your hands wherever you want the pass, and it's got to be away from the defender. Okay, now we're talking about using your body to shield the defense and also to prevent steals. So what'll happen a lot of times is we got defender and then offensive player. The offensive player will cut to the perimeter and this defender will jump the passing lane and get the steal. So that would look, I'm popping out right here. defense jumps the passing lane, they steal it, and then they go get a layup. Obviously a counter to that would be a backdoor cut, which is what we'll get to, but something else you can do is just use your body to shield the defense. So let's go back to kind of how we started. So now, instead of being in this alignment where it's passer, defender, cutter, what I can do now is I can step into this defender, get them on my back, and now I'm popping out this way, and if the defender's on my back like that, they're not going to be able to steal it. So something you can do is get the defender physically on your back, almost like you're posting up right here, and then you're going out using your back to shield the defense, and then you're facing up. When it comes to cutting, one thing you don't want to do is dance or just not commit to what you're doing. So if Jake's got the ball up there, he's the point guard. What can happen sometimes is a cutter, I might be here on the wing, and if I'm dancing and this passer doesn't know what I'm doing, just pass it and then I'm gonna backdoor cut. What'll happen is I backdoor cut, and then because I didn't commit to something, the ball is passed out of bounds. So when you're moving without the ball, whether you're going to screen, like if you're going to screen, you've got to really commit to saying, I am 100% screening. If you're going to cut, you've got to make sure, if you're going to cut, don't do this and then go back out and then kind of dance, because in a lot of offenses, if you cut, this next player is filling up. So you just got to commit, whether it's a cut, whether it's a screen, whether it's relocating, just make sure you fully commit so that you don't end up in a situation where you're dancing and then the ball goes out of bounds. Okay, one additional point to make when it comes to moving without the ball is you've got to know your matchup. So let's say I'm a dominant post player and I'm taller than I am, but let's just say I'm a super dominant post player and the defender guarding me is a lot smaller. Well, when it comes to moving without the ball for me, if I've got a post-up advantage, I don't need to be on the perimeter so much as I just need to cut into the paint, get down in the paint, and then go to where my advantage is, which would be in the post. Now let's say it's an opposite way. Let's say, Taha, let's say you're on offense. Okay, I'm taller than you, but let's say you're a lot quicker than me. Well, if I'm taller and I'm stronger, but he's quicker, he won't want to bring me into the post. Instead, his advantage is going to be using his quickness on the perimeter. So instead of a small, quick player going to the post, they would want to go out to the perimeter and use their advantage there. So you've got to understand your matchup, what your advantage is, and then based off your advantage, that's kind of where you should think about going on the floor.